welcome back to MakerGirl's online curriculum. This week's theme is STEM in sports. Take a second to look at the worksheet in front of you. At the top of the page will be the letters S, T, E, and M. Each session we ask you, what does STEM stand for? Take a second and write down what you know STEM stands for. Now that you're finished, we'll go over the letters to make sure we all have the correct answers. S stands for science, T stands for technology, E stands for engineering, and M stands for math. Now today's theme is STEM in sports, so we wanted to also talk about how 3D printing is used in sports. For one example, wheelchair basketball seats are customizable through 3D printing. So 3D printers can print the pieces of a wheelchair basketball seat to make it fit each player as customizable as possible. On the left-hand side, we have a picture of lacrosse stick heads, which were 3D printed. So it was really cool that they were able to be 3D printed out in those two different colors. And then just overall, 3D printing has been able to create lighter materials and add more customization to sports equipment for many different types of athletes. So for one example too, how 3D printing in sports relate is that Nike has created 3D printed shoes. These designs are for the tops of the shoes, and they are supposed to be lighter and breathable, which can make an athlete have a better performance. So let's learn a little bit more about that. So we could see in the video a little bit more about how Nike uses 3D printing and kind of just that process behind it. We saw it printing layer by layer, which we'll talk a little bit about when we get to how 3D printing works. So just to go over today's activities, we're going to be using the worksheet in front of you to brainstorm your 3D print, create your idea on Tinkercad, and then if you want to send us your 3D print and your Tinkercad idea, we can print them out on our 3D printers. Remembering that this will only be one color, so not to worry too much on Tinkercad about those colors, and that if your print is round, make sure it has a base of either a rectangle or a square or something else to hold it up. So for step 1, we like to start with brainstorming. So we really like to take some time to think about what you want to design. This process is super helpful with going to Tinkercad afterwards and being able to match the shapes to what you've drawn. So we suggest that you flip to the last sheet of the paper that says brainstorming on the top and you start drawing out what you want to design. Think of something that you want to create and even try to think of something that's sports related. Maybe it's your favorite sport, maybe it's a equipment piece that you like to use in your favorite sport. Try to think of something really fun that you can create and start drawing it out below. How I like to do it is I like to draw my design and then I like to label my design with what kind of shapes I think I might be able to use on Tinkercad for that piece. So for example, if I was going to be maybe creating kind of like we're saying like a lacrosse stick, I might have like a cylinder pointing to the base of the stick, and then maybe I'll use the scribble tool to actually create my own head of the lacrosse stick and keep thinking. So definitely pause the video right now, take a second to think of what you want to create, and then we'll go on to Tinkercad and kind of connecting some of the words I was using before to describe the shapes to what you'll actually see on screen. So take a second and pause the video. So now that you've drawn out your design, it's time to move on to Tinkercad to bring it to life. So by going to tinkercad.com and with parents' permission creating an account, please click on Create New 3D Design. When you do that, you'll get a screen that looks like this picture below. It'll be a light blue work plane and it'll have a bunch of drop downs to different shapes on the side. To use Tinkercad, if you've never used it before or been to a MakerGirl session, please click the link to the video in the description that walks you through about 10 to 15 minutes about basic Tinkercad functions. This will really help you if this is your first time. We really highly suggest that. If it's not your first time, just as reminders, the shapes that you can drop down are under this basic shape. You can drag by clicking and holding onto your shape and then dropping it on the work plane. Everything that you want to design needs to be on the blue work plane so our 3D printers can read it as below. Think of the blue work plane as the base of our 3D printers. And again, don't worry about the color of the shapes. On the side here, there are a bunch of different colors, but all of the prints come out in one color due to our 3D printers. But if you want to make it fun for yourself, feel free, but it's not going to be the same color as the screen, just as a reminder. And again, if you get stuck, if you need help, please watch our Tinkercad video. Grace really walks us through the easiest functions of Tinkercad, a couple tips and tricks of Tinkercad, and kind of just adding more onto it. So if this is your second or third time using Tinkercad, going to a MakerGirl session, and you want to learn more, I would just definitely make sure you watch Grace's video to see if there's any new trick or tip that she gives you that can help you create a better design. And then pause the video and then I'll come back and talk more about how 3D printing works after your Tinkercad design. Good luck creating! Alright, now that we're done creating on Tinkercad, we're going to talk a little bit about the 3D printing process, how it works, and then a little bit about a woman in STEM. So how it works is that we have our Tinkercad plane here. Once you have a design on it, I will download it to Kira, which is this screen here. It'll let me see the shape all the way in 3D, and it will let me also shrink the shape. So here's where it tells me how long it will take one print to 3D print. Whether it will take 30 minutes, maybe 3 hours, sometimes it even says a whole day. If it says it's too long, we definitely shrink it down a little bit so we can fit it in the time frame of printing. Once we do that, we load it onto the SD card and we stick that SD card in our 3D printers. We click the printing option and we look for your design name. When we select your design name, the printer on the front will say heating up and prepping to print. On the back of our 3D printers is a spool of plastic that is fed through a tube and into a nozzle. The nozzle is also heating up like the plate and will get very hot. The 3D printer itself gets all the way to like about 260 degrees Celsius, the nozzle tip does, so it's super hot. So our one rule when we're in person is to watch with our eyes and not with our hands. We don't want to have any accidents or have any time where you'd be sticking your fingers into the machine that's very warm. You wouldn't want to stick your hand into your oven that's baking cookies, so we just don't touch the 3D printers the same way. And then once the 3D printer is heated up, it starts to print layer by layer. So how that works is the build plate that you can see kind of in this little video raises all the way up and it starts printing out layer by layer, and each layer that it creates, the build plate moves a little bit down until you have your creation. So sometimes at the beginning of the print, it might be on layer 1 and it doesn't really look like the robot up here, but as it keeps going, it builds each part from the bottom to the top, and then you get your whole robot when you're complete. So once you guys do finish your Tinkercad designs, we really encourage that you submit it to info@makergirl.us, download it as a .stl file, make sure everything in the Tinkercad design, click everything in this design, STL file. There's also a link below that will help you walk you through that. But we want to print out more prints for people, so definitely submit away. And here is the final product that would be yours. All right, and then we wanted to talk a little bit about a woman in STEM who also is in sports. So here we have Brittany. Brittany is a LPGA golfer. She graduated from North Carolina State, and she's also got a degree in chemical engineering. So she is a huge STEM advocate, and she is also an ambassador for Let's Talk Science in Canada. So because she loves chemical engineering and she loves STEM, she loves to teach young people about kind of the crossover between STEM and sports and what kind of different jobs sports has that are STEM related. So it's really cool. It's really interesting to hear her speak about it. And we just really wanted to highlight her today as being an awesome woman in sports, but then being an awesome advocate for STEM and also earning her own degree in chemical engineering. We really want to encourage that you guys show your prints or your designs to your family. We really would love for you guys to have a conversation with what Tinkercad shapes you used, maybe your brainstorming piece, how you went from point A to point B, and how you helped that come to life. Some questions you can think about while you're talking to them is what was the hardest part of your design and what was the favorite thing that you learned about 3D printing? Maybe this time you learned something connected to sports, maybe something you created was related to your favorite sport, anything like that. Definitely feel free and definitely also share with us when you submit your prints if there's any fun little tidbit you want to tell us about your print. We would love to hear about it and definitely feature it if possible. So that is all we have for today. Look out on our YouTube channel for more sessions and more relations to different industries with 3D printing and also for some more activities. There's going to be a ton more activities that are going up soon, so definitely check them out. Thank you all for joining, and we can't wait to teach you more about 3D printing soon. Bye!